Hey Internet, Eric here. Jean-Claude Van January continues. If you're new to my channel or that concept, what it is every month on this channel this year is going to have a theme. In January, Jean-Claude Van January, I'm discussing nothing but Jean-Claude Van Damme films. And this is going to be a first-time watch, or this was a first-time watch. It was a blind buy. And when I was coming up with this theme, I needed help with a couple of like what else am I going to watch? I had my core movies I was going to watch and discuss, so I texted my buddy Knight from the Night Watch Zone. He's my go-to martial arts guy, good friend of mine, and he threw out a bunch of suggestions, and I remembered this was one of his suggestions, and now it gave me a reason to finally watch it. Today I'm going to discuss Cyborg. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. This came out in 1989. Basic plot of this is the world has ended. There was this plague, killed everybody, blah, blah, blah. And a cure has been found. Cure has been found, and it has been implanted into this woman who has been turned into a cyborg. And she needs to get from point A to point B. She is initially she's going to be taken from point A to point B by the help of Jean-Claude Van Damme, where she's kidnapped, and then, well, eventually she's kidnapped by a bunch of land pirates, and that's because the leader of the pirates, I don't know his name, I'm just going to call him War Child because he's played by the actor who plays War Child in Point Break. He wants the chaos, he wants the pain and the misery to continue, so he's kidnapping her, so there's no cure. So Van Damme, it's his mission to rescue the cyborg, get her to where she needs to go, and you find out that War Child was also the man behind the death of Van Damme's lover and family. I was very, very worried when this movie started because it's a canon film. And if you know canon films, you know it's going to be super, super cheap. 9 times out of 10, they're super, super lame and stupid. They're behind Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren, tons of Chuck Norris films, I think the American Ninja film, so the reputation speaks for itself. I really enjoyed this one. I really thought it was good. First off, Jean-Claude Van Damme, not much to him other than him walking around and having to kick ass. Doesn't need to emote that much. There is a lame love sequence, but it's a flashback. It's super, super quick. So again, when he doesn't have to be in love with somebody, he's great. So he's just walking around beating the shit out of everybody, and that's what Van Damme needs to do. The other characters, let's see here. The actor who plays War Child, well, he doesn't play War Child, like I said. It's just what I'm going to call him. He looks scary, but his voice is so deep, I guess he had to have it dubbed because I was looking at some behind the scenes stuff or, IMDb stuff, and I guess his voice was so squeaky or unintimidating that people were laughing at it, so they had to dub it. I'm still laughing. It's lame, but he does look monstrous. He is a cheesy 80s villain. I want the chaos. This is blah, 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 blah. Cutting off heads, taking names, the usual stuff. The cyborg actress, not much to her because, surprise, there's hardly any cyborg in this fucking movie. But she's there, she talks robotic, and that's it. Other characters, there is a woman that joins Van Damme. She's there to look pretty and get naked, and thank goodness, because Van Damme can't act when he falls in love. There's no romance. So she does her job. There's a couple other bit characters sprinkled in here and there. They're fine. Excuse me 1 second. Coughing fit. Speaking of plagues, this whole house is sick. Anyway, so the acting for what it is fine. Action. The action is really, really freaking good in this. Because it is post-apocalyptic, a lot of these fights don't have automatic weapons. It's all fists. It's all feet. It's all knives. It's chains. You get good hand-to-hand fighting, hand-to-hand combat in this movie. And it is so good. It's not like the last movie I was complaining about, like with John Woo, which had great explosions and shit like that, but every 15 seconds or even less, it was slow motion. There is slow motion in this movie, but when it's used sparingly, and it's used smartly, if that's even a fucking word. It's used well. Van Damme is, like, the punches are really brutal. close up. The kicks, close up, really good. There's some great stabbings, chokings. Um, this was really surprising. And what I really like about this film is they do a good job of making the world look like a desolate wasteland. There's great abandoned towns. I love when, like I said, for lack of a better term, War Child and his group, they invade a town, they burn it to the ground. He's uh, beating people over the head, stabbing them, taking gigantic staffs and like cracking people in the teeth. Um, there are some off-screen deaths where like he's gonna like cut a throat and then you just see a bloody knife. That's lame. But what we do get to see is really really good. The backstory, like I said, you find out he is the murderer of Van Damme's lover and some other children because one of the children ends up being a member of War Child's gang. What That's a brutal scene. And what it is Van Damme gets his ass kicked. Like he gets the shit kicked out of him, and he's fucking crucified. He's crucified and left out in the fucking desert. I was having like flashbacks of Conan the Barbarian, and all I needed was fucking vultures like on him, and he just type of thing. What happened was Van Damme was hired, and he would go back into the past and in this worst fucking ponytail, long haired wig in the world. Van Damme he's hired he's hired by one lady to take her family from point A to point B. They find a house, they live there, they start a relationship. The children are not his, but they start a relationship. And one day, War Child's group of pirates, they're looking in the window, they want to cause chaos, and this is such a brutal scene. Van Damme, the woman, and the child are tied up together in barbed wire, and they're put in like a wishing well. And they are being slowly low. And you know what? If it's at the way, way top, and obviously if they fall to their death and they all die. Well, what War Child does is the one daughter, he's having her hold what's keeping them above, and he's making her slowly cause them to descend, to the ground. But it's barbed wire. That's brutal. And you see this little girl holding two adults and another child in this bucket, and it's slowly lowering them. You see the barbs coming out of her hands, covered in blood. That's brutal shit. She's screaming, and then I don't remember how or why she ends up joining War Child's group. I think because she eventually lets go, they fall. She doesn't know Van Damme lives, type of thing. And all this flashback is happening while Van Damme is, still crucified. And this is a great flashback scene. This is a great scene of remembrance. And what I liked about this is it kind of like when Van Damme is full of rage and it's a remembrance scene. It's like in Kickboxer when he's winner, palm tree. You know what I mean? Kick the tree. Your brother, remember? He can't kick the tree anymore because he hurts his leg. Well, when he gets that remembrance and he kicks that palm tree down and splits his shin open. When he remembers what War Child did to his little girl and the family, he goes apeshit, and he's wearing boots, and he kicks his leg up, and he brings the heel of his boot down to the part of the crucifix where he is crucified, and he's just ragefully kicking it. Chunks of wood are coming down until it finally falls. Loved that scene. The final fight in the rain where he's killing everybody. It's a great scene where he's doing his Van Damme splits in between the walls with a knife up, like in front of him, and whoosh, great stuff. I love the final fight between him and War Child. Again, I don't remember the guy's name, but that's what it's gonna be. You think he kills him? We get the surprise. Brah! He shows up, and then he's impaled on a fucking meat hook. Good stuff. Now, I will say this. This is quite a canon film with the lack of budget. I think that's because of lack of explosions, lack of firepower. It's usually knives and stuff like that. The only real major eye-rolling scene when it comes to the budget is with the female cyborg. And like I said, she's pretty much a MacGuffin because it's a movie called Cyborg. She's in the movie for maybe 10 minutes. It's when she reveals herself to Van Damme that she's a cyborg. Normal, decent looking woman. She takes off her wig, and then we see like a stop motion face, human face, looks like her, but on the back it has like kind of like what RoboCop looks like. You know, when he takes his mask off and you got the back, the wires and all that shit. It looks awful. It looks awful. Like it looks worse than the Terminator when Arnold's doing the, you know what I mean, when he's missing the eyeball. Awful. I was joking with my wife. It was so bad. She looked like Michael Jackson, like pre-death, like Michael Jackson on a very bad day. It was so distracting. It was so awful looking. But it's literally two scenes. Two scenes out of, how long is this? Two scenes out of, does it say? 86 minutes. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I like this one a lot. Cyborg, highly recommend it. Van Damme is great. His fighting skills are fantastic. Even though I kind of laugh at War Child's voice, he is a fun, over-the-top villain. I love the look of this film, the brutality in a lot of it. But answer me this. How in the fuck was this going to be a sequel to Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren? If you watch this film, I don't know. I don't know how he could have been He-Man if he was Skeletor returned. I don't know, because of as brutal as this was, I don't see or get any type of Masters of the Universe connection unless they're back on Earth. Fuck if I know. And Billy Barty shows up. I don't know. Maybe he's in the bucket. Anyway, that's it. Highly recommend Cyborg. This was a pleasant surprise. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell. Comment below if you've seen this one. Love it. Hate it. What's your thoughts on canon films? When they're fun, but they're also pretty shitty at times. Thank you to everybody who's making Jean-Claude Van January a success when it comes to new subscribers. Appreciate y'all. Current subscribers or returning subscribers really hitting the views. I can't believe Lionheart is at like 1,100 views so far. Don't get it. It's a great movie, but me talking about it, don't understand. I'm going to try to finish this out. One upload per day. Tomorrow, I'm going with Replicant. Well, you know what? Okay, I don't know. The next 2 days is either going to be Replicant or The Quest. I'm going to end with the movie JCVD. And then Fantastical February comes out. Nothing but fantasy movies. It's going to be fun. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate y'all. Cheers. Go watch Cyborg. I'm going to watch this again soon because it was a lot of fun. Cheers.